Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, in my opinion, is a pretty creepy one. This is definitely one of those story times where I look back on it, and I'm like, damn, that scared the absolute hell out of me. And I haven't told this yet, so I thought I would tell you guys about it today. If you enjoy this story time, leave a like on the video, and I'll tell more kind of scary story times. And yeah, let's just jump right into today's story time. So today's story time all takes place in 2017, okay? Now, in 2017, I was visiting my hometown for a week, and I was renting a house with a bunch of friends. And every time I rent a house with a bunch of friends, something goes wrong. I feel like every time I've told a story time where I'm doing this, something just has to go wrong. And in this one, of course, something did. So this all starts off as a normal night. I'm renting this house, I got 4 friends sleeping over, and I'm sitting in my living room watching a movie. And this movie that we were watching was pretty loud. We had it turned up pretty loud, and we had surround sound in the living room. So it was kind of like shaking the house a little bit. It was pretty damn loud. And all of a sudden, we get a knock on my door. And I'm like, okay, someone's at my front door, and I already knew what it was going to be. I walked up to the front door, opened it, and it's a noise complaint. It's my neighbor. I had never met this girl before, but, she was just kind of standing there waiting to yell at me for being too loud. I open up the door. She's like, hey, do you have any idea how late it is and how loud you guys are being? And I was like, hey, my bad. I didn't know it was that loud. I thought that only we could hear it. I didn't think it was traveling over to your house or whatever. And she's like, yeah, well, it did. When did you guys move in here? And I was like, oh, I just got here. I'm not staying very long. I'm only here for a week. And she goes, oh, okay, good. Now, I thought that would be the end of it, right? She turns around, she walks away, she goes back to her house, goes back to her life, and I go back to mine, which was watching the movie, and I turn it down, I make it way quieter so she can't hear it anymore, and I thought that that was it, right? Didn't think anything else could happen. Well, boy, oh boy, was I fucking wrong. So fast forward to night number 2. I'm sitting in my living room doing the same shit with the same people, watching a movie, different movie this time. Conveniently, a horror movie, yes, a scary movie. Although this time we had the volume turned way down. Like before, it was really loud the day before, but this time we had it turned all the way down because we didn't want to get another noise complaint because your boy didn't want to have to move houses and get evicted from the one he was staying at. That wouldn't be good. Eviction's never a good thing. So yeah, we had it turned way down, but we could still hear it, and it really wasn't that loud at all. It was very, very quiet. Well, then one of my friends had to speak up. Let's just call this friend Josh. Josh speaks up, and he's like, yo, man, can you turn it up a little bit? It's hard to hear it. I was like, yeah, man, I'm just trying not to get a noise complaint. He's like, yeah, man, I totally understand. Just maybe a little bit more. I was like, yeah, okay. So I turned the volume up on the TV just a tiny bit more so that my friend Josh can hear it better. Everybody else said it was fine. So, I thought that'd be the end of it, right? Turn it up a little bit more, and we continue watching the movie. And then all of a sudden, mid-movie, we hear this super loud, just crazy sound in our backyard. Super fucking loud. Couldn't tell if it was the movie or something outside. So I paused the movie, and I'm like, yo, did you guys just hear that? And everyone's like, yeah, how could we have missed it? I was like, okay, cool, it's not just me. What the fuck was that? And we're all looking at each other really scared because it sounded like it came from the backyard. And my friend's like, oh, don't worry about it, man. It's probably just from the movie. I'm like, no, man, that definitely sounded like it was coming from the backyard. And my other friend speaks up as well. He's like, yeah, dude, that did not sound like it was a movie thing. So I'm like, all right, let me go find out what that is. So I go up to the sliding glass door, I open it up, I walk outside to the backyard, and it is pouring fucking rain. Raining hard as hell. There's lightning, there's thunder, and when I hear that thunder, it immediately sounds like the noise that we just heard. And I'm like, okay, that's a relief. It was just a thunderstorm. No one's in our backyard. It was just some thunder. So I walk inside, I go back into the house, I sit down, and we're all looking at each other. And my one friend goes, so, what'd you see out there? I was like, there's someone in our backyard. And my friend's like, what? We gotta call the cops. I'm like, nah, man, I'm just fucking with you. It's just thunder. I'm sorry. That was a bad joke. Just some thunder, a little bit of a storm. And my friend's like, don't fuck with me like that, bro. I'm scared right now. I can't handle scary movies. I'm like, it's totally good, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. So anyway, we hit play on the movie again, and we keep watching. This time, we have to turn it up a little bit louder because the thunderstorm was kind of drowning out the noise. So we turn it up nice and loud, but not as loud as the night before so that we don't get a noise complaint. And we're just watching this movie, and we get about 75% into this movie, almost done. And then all of a sudden, we see something in our backyard. Out of the corner of my eye, I look over, and out of the sliding glass door, I can see some sort of white figure run across my backyard. And it was fucking terrifying. It looked like they were dressed in like a completely white set of clothes, like white pants, white shirt, like fucking white shoes. And I yell out, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And I point to it, and my friends see it too. And my one friend grabs the remote and stops the movie and turns the TV off. And we're all freaking out. We're like, what the fuck was that? Like, what just ran past our backyard? Like, that was a person. Because it was not shaped like an animal. It was shaped like a human being, like the silhouette of a person. So I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do right now. And my friend goes, yo, we should call the cops. So I pull open my cell phone, I call up the cops, and I'm like, hey, there's a person running around backyards in my neighborhood. I don't know what they're doing. I can't even get a good look at them. They just ran past really fast wearing all white clothing, and I think someone needs to come check this out. And the operator's like, okay, help's on the way. Now, 10 minutes later, a police officer knocks at my door. I open it up, and he's standing there in the rain, and he's like, hey, so you called about someone running around your backyard? I was like, yeah. He goes, that's so weird. We just got a call to this address for a noise complaint. I'm like, really? Must have been the neighbor. She complained yesterday about us. He's like, yeah, it's whatever. Like, way more important things to worry about. Show me where you saw this person in your backyard. I'm like, for sure. So I lead him to the backyard. I open up the sliding glass door, and he's looking around the backyard. No one's there. No one's in the neighbor's yard. No one's in the other neighbor's yard. He can't figure out where this person is. I can't figure it out. And I'm nervous now because I just know how this is going to end. The police officer is not going to be able to find the creepy person running around my backyard. Can't find them. Police is going to leave. They're going to come back. And I'm probably going to get kidnapped and then eaten for someone's dinner. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that to happen. So anyway, the police officer looks around for like 15 minutes, comes back to my door. He's like, yeah, I can't find anything. He then asks me a bunch of questions like, do I know anybody that might want to hurt me? Do I know anyone that wears that kind of clothing? And I was like, dude, I don't even know what that person was wearing. I just knew that it was white because when they ran by, I noticed a really bright white color. Like, it could be something else. It just had a whitish tint. And the police officer gives me a number to call if I see anything else and basically writes up a report. And that was the end of that. And he left. Now, at this point, I'm terrified. Me and my friends kind of just agreed to start packing our things up and, leave that house because we don't want to get murdered. So we start packing our shit up as fast as we can. We start getting ready to leave. And then as we're loading up the car, like we're going outside, we're putting our suitcases in the car, I look over, and in the window of the neighbor's house was that same girl I saw running past our backyard, just in the window staring at us leaving and smiling. And I realize immediately, after getting a good look at their face, that it's the neighbor. It's the same lady who complained the night before about us being too loud. So naturally, I'm pissed. I walk up to the door. I knock on the front door. She comes downstairs. She opens the front door and goes, what do you guys want? I'm like, were you just in my backyard running around? What were you just doing? And she goes, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, no, me and my friends just saw you. You were wearing the same clothes as the person in our backyard. Why the fuck were you on our property? And she's like, well, I heard all this noise coming from your house again, and I wanted to come check it out. So I walked over there and peeked through your window to see you guys once again being loud as hell, watching some movie. I was like, so because you heard noise, you trespassed onto our property, peeked through our windows and stared at us in our private residence, and then called the cops on us. She's like, yep. I was like, you do know it's illegal to spy through somebody's window, right, without their permission? She goes, no, it's not. I was like, really? Google it. And she goes, it's not. I know my rights. I'm like, no, you fucking don't, because I can call the police right now and get you arrested. And when I said that, I pulled open my phone to show her that I can call the cops, and she reaches over and steals my phone out of my hand and goes, can't call them without this. So I turn around and I go, yo guys, call the cops. And my friends all start pulling out their phones just to fuck with this girl. And she starts freaking out, and she throws my phone at me and then slams the door shut and locks it. So I pick my phone up off the ground, I walk back over to our car, we proceed to get in the car and drive off, and I call up the owner of the house, the landlord who owns the house, who is renting it to me, and I was like, hey man, your neighbor just peeked through our windows and then ran away out of our backyard because she was annoyed with us being noisy, so she decided to just violate our privacy. So yeah, I just want to let you know about that. You should probably do something about that. And he was like, don't worry, I'll handle it. Like, you're getting fully refunded. You don't have to stay there anymore. I don't want you feeling uncomfortable. He gave me all my money back. He called that woman up, the neighbor, and told her that he was installing security cameras. And if he sees her on his property ever again, messing with his tenants, he would get her ass arrested. And the rest was history. As far as I know, she hasn't done that ever again. But yeah, moral of the story is, don't be like that woman. That creepy, just psychotic neighbor. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Beef in the night, you be wanting to fight. When I pull up, you see us like, oh shit. cut all these ties cause they plan my demise. They all snakes and I think it's been show.